What's going on, everyone? This is Adam Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're talking round 2 DFS targets for the Houston Open. Craig, round 1 was a little bit of a bloodbath out there. We had a scoring average well over 2.29. We didn't get every group through round 1. We had to call it because of darkness, but what'd you see out there?
Yeah, I did not expect it to be that tough. It looks like, so this is one of the things, I think there's a huge argument to be made for these shaven banked green complexes, because I think it makes it so much more punishing for people to try to go at flags compared to when you do have long rough around it. And I think it neutralizes the field. It neutralizes some of the advantages of distance, I think, better than other ways that people are trying to do that.
I completely agree. And I mean, these guys, these professionals, they're so good out of the bunker. It's usually an easy up and down for them. But when you have these shaved off areas, it gets a lot trickier. I mean, we saw a couple people ping pong back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's also a nice little preview for next week, because that's one of the things that makes Augusta great.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I did want to point out, so if we looked at the top 15 from round 1, all of them were positive in strokes gained around the green. If we look at the top 28, 26 of them were positive around the green. So that's something we quickly mentioned on our Twitch show, but something I'm definitely looking at moving forward.
Yeah. And the other thing that we have up here right now that I did want to mention was that the AM wave was almost half a stroke better. I think so. It looks like weather tomorrow, the winds are going to get slightly higher as the day goes on, but nothing that is going to affect my decision making in terms of early wave, late wave. But the one thing that I am looking at early wave because of is I think these greens are so firm that getting out there when they're soft, I think, is an advantage. Now, whether it shows again tomorrow that it's a half stroke advantage, I don't know, but I just figure for showdown purposes, might as well target guys in the early wave.
Yeah, and the weather looks pretty good throughout, so it's pretty sunny there. I agree. I think they'll firm up in the afternoon, but not something I'm putting a lot of weight in.
Yeah, well, we saw the lowest round today was in the afternoon, but just, it's just like anything else. If there's an edge that you can potentially get, then I'll look for it.
Use it. Yeah, exactly. So going into our picks, my first pick, I'm going with Hideki Matsuyama, DraftKings 8,900. I just feel like that price, he's priced closer to the average than the top guys, and it doesn't really make sense for the quality of player Hideki is. So round 1, 70, even par, 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. Nothing really that exciting either way. The one thing I did want to point out, on Thursday, he was over a half stroke negative off the tee. On the season, he's positive. So he's typically plus 0.3 or better for kind of his career. But the two things I'm really looking at for Friday, strokes gained around the green and bogey avoidance. He's 5th last year and 21st in bogey avoidance.
So you just crackled on me for a sec there. The main thing you were saying is that it was uncharacteristic of him off the tee, what we saw from him yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
So we expect to see better.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I think the other thing about Hideki is for a showdown play, like the guy, he's one of these people that when he gets on, he can go crazy low, So I like it. I like the play.
Yeah.
Jumping into my first guy here, he's someone I brought up last week as well. Doc Redman. He is $9,200 on DraftKings. He had a bit of an up and down day, 5 birdies. He was 1 over on the day, 5 birdies, 4 bogeys, and a double. It's a pretty interesting card too if you go and look at it. Now, typically, this is the type of thing I hate when I'm looking for showdown targets. Yeah. He gained almost 5 strokes putting and lost over 3.5 tee to green. But then you go and look at it, and like to me, I'm not putting too much stock into the putting. It's more just I'm not going to take away from him. Basically, all the strokes he lost was around the green, and that's because there was a couple times that he just had them come right back to his feet. And so, those are the type of things he went. I forget what exactly the numbers were, but he was either 3 or 4 under on the back. So he really did turn it around as the day went on. And he had a couple, he put it in the water at one point. He just had a lot of missed strokes that to me are not indicative of bad play. Well, problems with their game so much as just this is golf and there's variance involved. Couple things to point out just in terms of the trends of him going into this round. He was positive in strokes gained off the tee today, and that he has been absurdly consistent at being positive
Right.
off the tee, which to me that
Right.
just gives you that baseline floor that you don't. It's one thing that you don't have to worry about there being tons of variability in. He's going to be
For sure.
solid off the tee. His
Yeah.
accuracy off the tee is awesome. And then last thing, I said this one last week, and the numbers have gotten better since then. So I just wanted to bring it up again. Since coming back from COVID, 73% of his rounds have been better than the field average that day. And
Right.
32% of his rounds have been at least 2 strokes better. So that's when you start to get up into,
Yeah.
you're a solid piece of showdown, or potentially like the one you need to
The
have.
slate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. I like how you packed as much information as you possibly could into that just to get your reasoning up for Doc. But I like it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's one I felt I needed to defend a little more just because it's so
Yeah.
different from the usual targets
No,
that I
for sure.
have.
For sure. My next pick, one of your sleepers going in, I think Cameron Tringale, DraftKings 7,400. Another, even day. He finished at 70, 6 birdies, 4 bogeys, 1 double. So a little bit of that psycho scorecard, kind of like Doc. Um, and again, kind of pointing out something that went wrong on Thursday, but you think it's going to kind of revert to their career, to their season average. So he was negative 2.8 strokes on approach. Just one of the worst days out there. But on this season, he's positive 0.6. So I expect that, at least to be closer to field average or zero. Not that bad again, but he's still finished at even par. So he's looking good. And then again, 2 key stats I'm looking at for next week. He's on last season, strokes gained around the green, he's 40th. Bogey avoidance, he's 9th.
Yeah. The other thing with like a single day of strokes gain approach, like when I was looking through Doc Redman's, he hit it in the water, trying to go for it on 2 and a par 5. So like that, a guy who, like Tringale, where he's typically very good, when you go through and you actually look at what happened, it could be like he got super aggressive going at some flags and just like fell off one of those shaved banks. So it can be so volatile, but the guy's a good ball striker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And speaking of good ball strikers, Adam Scott comes in at 9,000. So I was actually looking at him as the rounds were finishing, and he was a lot more appealing to me before the end because he was at even at the time I started looking at him, and then he made a couple more birdies down the stretch, and it reinforces why I was interested in him, but like it means that you kind of expect ownership's going to go up to reflect it.
Right.
But yeah, 5 birdies, 1 bogey, 1 double. His double, if you want to look, I forget the hole it was, maybe 11, whatever that par 3 is, 11 or 12. But it was the start of his round. They started on the back, and it is just a ping pong and smattering of short game around the green.
Yeah.
But there was huge question marks about Scott coming in. He has a new driver, a new ball that he's playing with. He was coming off of COVID. He apparently had been not able to practice. He had a little putting green, roll-out putting green, but he wasn't able to practice his swing. But he said going into the tournament, just like his practice in the days right before, he felt like his swing was in a good place. So, and it was reflected in off the tee and approach numbers. So I just think there's a lot of reasons to like where he's at. And, he does have as much talent as almost anyone in this field. So
yeah, I agree with that. The price seems a little bit too high. I still don't know. He's my fade of the week. And I thought the fade was pretty smart when he started his round, but he clearly came back to 2 under. I just don't know about that price. But that's what kind of my hesitation.
Well, and that's the thing. So I think when I was originally going to look at him at even, I was thinking that his ownership's going to be low because there's still so many question marks. He, you don't know his form. He's talking about using a longer driver and just all of these things. And so, but I do think it potentially is going to get a little bit higher now.
Yeah, for sure. My last pick. So I'm just stealing my brother's sleepers. This is Kevin's sleeper coming in, I think. Russell Knox, 6,700. He had a pretty good day. 69, 1 under, 2 birdies, 1 bogey. Again, I'm looking at something that kind of went wrong on Thursday, but it should revert back to kind of his long form. So on Thursday, negative 1.43 strokes gain approach. On the season, he's positive 0.68, so almost 0.7. So that should come closer to average. And then again, those 2 key stats I'm looking for, I really think you need to kind of go up and down to save your par on this type of course. That's what we've seen so far. And we've only have 1 round of history here. We don't have years. So I'm taking that one round of history, and I'm kind of leaning on it. So strokes gained around the green, 76. Still positive there, but bogey avoidance, he's 11th.
Yeah, I like it.
And cheap.
Cheap, and I also think I haven't looked around that area to see who else is there. So maybe -1 will stand out, but otherwise you don't think his ownership's going to get too crazy. So I do like it a lot for that reason.
Yeah.
My last one here, I've got Sam Burns. He's coming in at 7,300 on DraftKings. He had a -268 on Thursday, 4 birdies, 2 bogeys. I did a little bit of digging, and he's going off in the first group tomorrow with Doc. Yeah. And, I mentioned how why not try to target guys who are going to play on the softer greens. But then I looked into his numbers a bit. So for the full 2019-2020 season, he's actually a full stroke better in early rounds compared to late rounds. Now there is the average for the PGA Tour, there's about 0.09, 0.1 of a stroke better. So for him, but he's still like all that considered, he's still 0.9 strokes better over the course of a full season. So
he's just a morning guy. He just needs to get his coffee and get out there.
Yeah, maybe he gets a better routine. He doesn't like to wait around. I don't know. Maybe it's just pure variance. But I figured if there's something to it, then let's look into it. And yes, as far as his play, one of the main things I was looking for off the tee is it seems like to me that's one of those ones that typically you can look at long-term trends. And so he's good coming in. He was 4th best in the field today. Right. I think that's going to continue. He was a great solid ball striker as well. So it's just a matter of whether he was one of the top 10 rounds maybe on the day today, whether he can continue to do that or not.
Yeah, no, I like it at that price point for sure. He was popular coming into the tournament, so I think he'll probably be popular again. He kind of reaffirmed what people thought, but at that price point, he's clearly something.
It'll let you do some things with your lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like it if you enjoy our videos. But coming up next, so we are digging into the Masters. We are spending our days really digging through it to get you guys the best information. And we are dropping our Masters preview pod sometime on the weekend. So wherever you get your podcast, please subscribe. Grandstand Golf. If you like it, please leave a comment. Please rate it. We really appreciate that. But thank you for joining us. Good luck with the rest of Houston, and watch out for our Masters content.
Yeah, good luck, guys. See you next time.